we're dealing with people that obviously were injured and hurt. So they're potentially serious situations, and these people are coming to us in a time of great need, and they want to be comforted and they want to be advised. 6 years ago, something happened, and I say, I'm sorry, the statute of limitations or time limitations has expired, so there's nothing for you to do. Really? Nobody else ever told me that. Well, I'm telling it to you, and they're appreciative of that.
Yeah.
And, people generally just want to know, and they want the help, and they want their hand held, and we're happy to do that.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Mitchell Panter. He's the managing partner at Panter Sampedro. Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Mitchell, why don't you start and tell me a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Mitchell Panter. I'm a partner at the law firm of Panter Sampedro. We are a personal injury law firm located in Kendall, Pinecrest, South Miami, Florida. We've been around for more than 30 years. I am what's called a board certified civil trial lawyer. That means I'm board certified by both the Florida courts as well as the national board in civil trial law. That means that I've tried more than 50, 60, 70 cases. In my early days, I did some criminal work, did some insurance defense work. Currently, I'm working in the plaintiff-oriented field. So we represent people that are injured due to the negligence of others in a wide variety of cases. One of my main roles is I am the managing partner of our law firm. We are 5 lawyers, 15 staff. So nice, small size firm here. And this is what we do and have been doing for a considerable period of time.
That's fantastic. I hate to say I hate to call it doing time, but I was a victim advocate for several years, working for in the criminal space as well. So I understand kind of where you're coming from. Certainly, not the depth of the experience that you have. So now going to Panter and Sampedro, talk to me a little bit more about the firm.
So probably about 30 plus years ago, it was Bushbaum and Panter, and that was my brother and his partner. I was doing insurance defense work, as I said, for the first bunch of years. I joined up with Brett a year before. We call Hurricane Andrew. That's our landmark year. Now it's pre-COVID and post-COVID, but we bought a building. We're on the corner of what's called Kendall Drive and US 1. We have one office. We pride ourselves on it. It's close to home, so it's wonderful. So we formed the firm. David Sampedro joined us a few years later. We have 2 additional lawyers that have since joined us. We do solely plaintiffs work. So we represent people injured due to the negligence of others, whether it be medical malpractice, product liability, premise liability, negligent security. We do a little bit of what's called mass torts. So we're involved in some of these bigger accident cases or bad products, things of that nature. We help people. We do the best we can. We go to trial when necessary. We resolve when necessary. But we pride ourselves on the hands-on experience. So you're not going to deal with the big box. We're not the biggest law firm in the world, but you're going to speak to me. You're going to speak to David. You're going to speak to Brett. You're going to speak to the lawyers. We're going to handle your case personally. We do our best. Customer service, man. It's critical. It's lacking in our community. It's lacking in, especially in the legal community. So we do our best to talk to people, to explain to them what's going on, and to do a really good job on the intake. So people call us with a case, and if it's not a case or there's a problem with it, we're going to tell it to you like it is right off the bat. So, we have a really good rate of success in our cases because the intake, we make sure we get good cases.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really interesting, and you raise a really great point about that customer service. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't speak from my experience, but in other interviews I've done, it sounds as though people, have a misconception that lawyers will take a case just to have a case. But it sounds like at Panter and Sampedro, you're able to say, hey, I just don't think it's that good of a fit.
Customer service. I belong to several different business groups, and my mantra is answer the goddamn phone. So when people call, when people send you an email, you got to answer the phone, no matter what the business is. That customer service, and it stinks. It's a shame. Our community, our world that we live in nowadays, the customer service just isn't there. But you're absolutely correct. The big box firms, the biggest in the world firms, name not mentioned, and the other firms that are billboarded out there, they just take cases to take cases, and that's not who we we are what we are. We do a really good job, as I said, on intake. So I want to find out, is there liability or fault? Is there damages? Are you injured? Is there insurance coverage? Is the statute of limitations or time limitation run? Have you had 6 lawyers before you? Have you had 5 cases before you? So rest assured, when and if we take your case, we're going to make sure it is a case. Now, things might happen during the course of the case that lead us astray, but the initial intake is really important. We want to make sure that we know about you, we know about your case, and that we're doing the right thing, and that there is a resolution, a potential resolution, an opportunity to resolve the case favorably for you.
Mm-hmm. And, for our listeners who aren't necessarily familiar with, I think you said you guys are on North Kendall in Miami, you are a Miami firm. Do you take clients outside of the Miami area, or do you strictly stay kind of in that space?
So it's a new world now. It's really, it used to be, we did cases and we're just in our community, our neighborhood, and these other lawyers would open up these box offices all across the country. You know what? I got clients in Israel. I got clients in South America. I got clients in everywhere you could think of. For instance, we do what's called maritime law cases, so cruise ship cases. So the law says that if you come here from anywhere in the world and you go to Miami-Dade County and you take a cruise ship, no matter where you're from, the jurisdiction, the area where the case needs to be brought is Miami-Dade County. So we've got clients from throughout the world. We can, for all practical purposes, handle cases everywhere and anywhere. If it's an out-of-state case, we can co-counsel with somebody there. But for the most part, we're able to handle cases, again, throughout the world, if not necessarily throughout the country. Primarily, our office, one and only office, is here in Miami, and it's helpful. But we communicate with people nowadays like this, through Zoom, through Skype, through, this video conferencing stuff. Our hearings, our depositions, our mediations are all now Zoom and Skype and video. So we're able to help people. And if we can't help you, we will find a lawyer that can help you. I mean, we do a great job on referring cases out, whether it be not personal injury or whether it be in a different location. We're great on referring the cases out to somebody else and working with them and making sure that if our client's here, we do whatever can be done here. But if a witness is somewhere else, or if the trial is somewhere else, we work with a team, and we believe in a team approach.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, going back to that main core tenet that Panter, and Sampedro, what you've, really emphasized throughout this, episode so far, is that emphasis on customer service and making sure that it's collaborative, it's supportive, and you're able to, be adapt and flexible to support the needs of that client.
So when you work with the Florida Bar, who is the big granddaddy of Florida lawyers and governs us and supervises us, the biggest complaint and the biggest information that they get is lack of communication. We get called because I hired the big box law firm and I don't know my lawyer. My client, my case manager never calls me. Nobody knows what's going on. You can call me, you can email me, you can text us. Our service is great. So after hours, we have 24/7 staff that work with us. Again, communication, whether it's a personal relationship or a relationship with a lawyer, or your doctor or anybody, communications. And so we really pride ourselves on keeping our clients apprised of what's going on with the case, the goods, the bads, the uglies. I tell people when we sign them up, I say, look, I'm going to tell you like it is, good, bad, or ugly. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear about it. But, I took a deposition the other day and the client told me one thing, but the adjuster showed me the video surveillance, which showed something totally different. And I said to the client, I said, look, I got evidence that shows something different. What are you going to do? And sometimes there's an explanation and it's rational. And sometimes maybe they didn't tell me the truth and we have to close the case and move on. But, communication, it's really important. And that customer service, we really pride ourselves on. It's really something important for us.
Yeah, I think that's really, really fantastic. And, an important core tenet of any business, specifically, though, when you're dealing with people's lives and, in the space that you are with personal, injury and liability.
Well, we're dealing with people that obviously were injured and hurt, and whether it's loss of income, whether they've lost their home, whether they've lost their spouse, whether they've lost a child. So they're potentially serious situations, and these people are coming to us in a time of great need, and they want to be comforted and they want to be advised. And it's amazing how many times I tell people, I'm sorry, I can't take your case because blank. And they say, you know what, at least you got on the phone and told me, thank you for that. Or they call me and they say, 6 years ago, something happened. And I say, I'm sorry, the statute of limitations or time limitations has expired, so there's nothing for you to do. Really? Nobody else ever told me that. Well, I'm telling it to you, and they're appreciative of that.
Yeah.
And people generally just want to know,
Yeah.
and they want the help, and they want their hand held, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Well, Mitchell, I think this has been a great conversation. As we start to wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, either about Panter and Sampedro, about personal injury, anything you want to leave our listeners with?
An important aspect of personal injury is knowing and understanding that we, as personal injury lawyers, work on what's called a contingency fee basis. So that means that you don't pay the lawyer. If you have a personal injury case, never pay a lawyer. We work contingency fee. So if we get a case and there's a recovery, we're entitled to get a piece of the pie. That's governed by whatever state you're in. Our Florida Supreme Court governs that and tells us what to do. Also, you should be able to have communications with your lawyer. If you call and you get a paralegal or a secretary or a case manager, that's not good enough. That's, and occasionally we have people help us and work with us on our cases, but more importantly, you should be able to speak with the lawyer. The lawyer should tell you the law. The lawyer should tell you the facts. The lawyer should be the one working with you on your case. And we're really proud about that. And that's what we do. Comes back to customer service and communications. Those are the two big things. I'm board certified. You should ask your doctors. You should ask your lawyers. Are they board certified? What are their skills, qualifications, and competencies? And who's going to be working on your case? Talk to people, find out what's best. We're here. We're happy to help you.
That's fantastic. Well, Mitchell, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about personal injury, talk to me a little bit about the history of Panter, and Sampedro. I think this was a great conversation, and I appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Thank you very much. And let me just leave you with, if anybody needs me, I'm at 305-662-6178, or my personal email is mpanter@panterlaw.com. Our website is panterlaw.com. Visit us. We have a really good website, and we're happy to help you anytime.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mitchell.